Oi you, listen up. I'm going to have my say.
G'day guys, it's John from That's My Say here, and this video is a response to one done by the Fat Aussie Bastard called Are You Mental? And in it he asks a few things. Where are my notes I made? I'll get them. He's basically talking about the people he's met on YouTube and a few throughout his life that have been, in his words, inconsistent and then hid behind a mental illness of some sort. And he asked whether he felt that it seemed to be about 50% of people on YouTube were like this, and was asking whether this is about whether people thought it was about right and that sort of stuff. So I thought I'd do a video response because he was worried people were going to tear him a new arsehole. I'm not going to do that. That's not my intention at all. It's just, I guess it's my side of the issue, I suppose. In some ways it differs from Fab's, in some ways it doesn't. But yeah, I'll go through it. He talked about the rate of mental illness, excuse me, and in a general population, the rate of mental illness is about 1 in 5. In general population from 18 to 24 years old, it goes up to about 1 in 3. So it is something that is fairly common. Whether it's half the people on YouTube are like that, I don't know. Maybe it is because as the Fat Aussie Bastard asks, is YouTube a release for people with a mental illness? And I guess it is. I guess it is in some ways a safe forum for people to be able to get for people to be able to make a release. It's a safe way for them to do that. For people to be able to say the things that they want to say, and I guess in their way socially interact with people. I have been associated with people with mental illnesses and of varying kinds: depression, anxiety attacks, people with post-traumatic stress disorders, people with bipolar. And the people that I've been associated with, they are genuine sufferers of these conditions. I've also known people who claim to have the condition and blame it on their behaviour, but they are people who, from using my experience with people who've had it and have been genuine, then I don't think they're genuine. So I guess that comes to an issue of people who use it as an excuse, whether they're genuine or not. I don't want to say they aren't genuine. I'm going to say that, it's my feeling that these people aren't genuine. So yeah, I think you'll get some people with mental illnesses that I've been associated with sometimes have episodes where their behaviour is, I guess, erratic, and at the time and even afterwards they generally aren't very aware of what they've done. Once you explain it to them, that they are very apologetic, and even though it is because of their condition, they are apologetic and they don't like the fact that it's happened. And once they've settled down and gotten over their episode, they are willing to find the help that they need, whether that be medication or counselling and those sorts of things. Yeah, it's a tough issue when you're dealing with people with mental illnesses. It's hard, and it's a tough thing to deal with, both for the person with the mental illness and for the people supporting them. Now, at the end of the video, you said people if they've got a mental illness, get the help or get the fuck over it. I agree. They should get the help, and if they're not willing to get the help, then nothing's going to change. Sometimes it's hard to get the help. It's because of the stigma attached to mental health, which isn't made any easier by people's, for want of a better word, ignorance, maybe lack of knowledge about it is a better way of putting it. It isn't made any easier for these people because they see people going, get the fuck over it, blah, blah, blah. So the mere fact that people don't want to be labelled with a mental illness because of the bad press that it holds makes it hard for them to go and find help. But in my experience, finding help is the best thing to do, and certainly they should go and get help. If you've got a mental illness, or if you think you've got a mental illness, fuck what people think. Who cares? If you need help, go and get it. There's lots of places out there that probably the best step is to go and see your GP, get a referral to a psychologist. Okay, and that'll get the ball rolling. Unfortunately, mental health is one of those things that the government always is a bit slack on funding because it's such a hard area, it's such a tough area, there's so many different things. And another thing that Fab touched on was that these things didn't exist 100 years ago. Well, they probably did, just they didn't have a name for them, they didn't recognise them, because modern medicine these days knows a lot more about the brain and how it works, the chemical nature of it and those sorts of things. I'm hoping this hasn't gone on for too long. Yeah, so that's about it. Yeah, like I said, it's a tough thing. People need to get help for it. It is fairly common. In modern society, there's a lot of pressures put on people these days. Or maybe it's just the breakdown in family groups and those sorts of things. There used to be a lot more of a sense of community and village and that sort of thing in times gone by, and people have a lot more support from a wider group of people, and these days people are a lot more isolated. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on the matter. And Fab, you fat ballsy bastard, you stole my thing, that's my say. Okay, so that's my say. What's yours? See you later.
Well, that's my say. What do you reckon?